Oh my God, it's definitely a good feeling. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was already supposed to be here at the EMAs and, to come over here for this time. So the fact that, right now, people are really, really loving the song, it definitely, it feels really good. I've never felt that before, so it's definitely a great feeling.
It's really connects all around the world. People love it. So. CEO. I know actually.
Hola, comrades. Today's topics of interest: Camila Cabello and Demi Lovato. In a landscape largely devoid of outright pop stars, these musicians have emerged as two of the biggest. It would not be a tremendous exaggeration to say that the future of pop music is in their hands. So let's examine the future, shall we? Where do they come from? What does the future hold for them? And which one has the best chance of leaving a long-term impact on the pop music landscape? Let's start by saying that they have quite a bit in common. They're both Latina icons who've already attained success over a long period of time, despite their youth. Lovato is 25 years old, while Cabello is only 21. The average person around that age is still trying to figure their lives out, but these women are already all but guaranteed to be wealthy until they die, provided that they don't blow through their money MC Hammer style. Granted, like most people who are successful at a young age, they were the recipient of unusual good fortune. Lovato was a child actor on Barney. No, I'm not kidding. But that wasn't her big break. No, her big break came later, when the mouse came a-callin'. Disney cast her as the lead in both the TV movie Camp Rock and the sitcom Sunny with a Chance. I don't recommend either project unless you're in the mood for unfunny cheese, but they were popular enough among their target demo of young girls, and Lovato released her debut album, Don't Forget, in 2008, when she was only 16 years old. Unsurprisingly, it sold well, going gold, but surprisingly, it's actually a decent pop record, and the song La La Land in particular stands out. Certainly better than the movie La La Land. Ugh. From there, she has had a steady and successful career. None of her songs have become excessively popular, with last year's Sorry Not Sorry, her biggest hit ever in America, charting only at number 6. However, she's had 3 other top 10 hits in both America and the UK, and Échame la Copa, her Spanish-language duet with Luis Fonsi, topped charts across the Spanish-speaking world. Aside from that, she made one of the best pop songs of the entire 2010s with Cool for the Summer, an absolute banger that demonstrates what great music she can make when she leans on her intensity and passion. She's a solid singer and performer. For a young pop singer, aspiring to be Demi Lovato is setting their goals quite high. The same could be said if they were aspiring to be Cabello. Her rise to fame has been nothing less than meteoric. She auditioned for the second season of the American version of The X Factor, and she would have been eliminated in the boot camp section had it not been for her being pushed into a group with 4 other similarly aged girls.
You are all, look at that, as you are, invited to the judges' home.
This new group was called Fifth Harmony, and it placed 3rd in that season. And guess who was one of the judges?
I see such a huge future for you guys. I'm so happy that you auditioned because I'm proud to have you on the show. That's a yes.
That's right. That led to this prophetic gem.
The thing is I know you guys have potential because I saw your performance at the judges' homes. And that's when you guys really shined. But I feel like tonight there was only one person that shined. And it didn't click for me tonight. I want to see you guys click. I think you need more practice together. You need to come out of your shell a little bit. Right now, there's only one person doing it for me.
Well, thank you, Demi. Who was the one that clicked for you? Demi?
Well, next up, we have my final contestant from my group.
Demi, who was the one that clicked for you?
Oh, they should figure that out on their own. I'm not going to say
I
it
want
right
to know,
now.
and I think they should know so they know how to work better together.
I think that they should just all figure out you.
Okay,
Which one?
It took a little interrogation.
all shine.
Camila?
Yes, I think you guys should all learn something from her.
As Demi predicted, Cabello did in fact become the standout performer in Fifth Harmony, and pursued a solo career because of that. But not before recording a substantial amount of work with the group, releasing an LP and 2 studio albums, all of which did quite well. Though the group only had 1 top 10 hit in the US and only 2 in the UK, they attracted a dedicated fan community, and their biggest smash, Work From Home, was bigger than any song Demi has ever released, reaching number 4 in the United States and all the way to number 2 in Britain. This, however, was only a precursor to the fame she would achieve after leaving the group. Going single is always a risk, but Cabello transitioned into the role of the pop diva easily, as though she was born to play that role. I was surprised to learn she was only 21. She had the charisma of a much more seasoned performer. Since going solo, she's pulled down 2 top 10 hits in both America and the UK, one of which was absolutely titanic. It's a little song you might know called Havana. After lingering at number 2 on the charts for weeks on end, it finally reached number 1 before being knocked off by Drake's vastly inferior God's Plan. But that doesn't accurately capture how ubiquitous this song became. It was the first song since Despacito where I felt like I was being enveloped in it. The melody stuck in my head, and I found myself listening to it even though I only found the song mediocre. Cabello just sells it. Her sheer presence on the track is astounding. Now, if only the lyrics were better and actually talked about her experience as a Cuban immigrant instead of devolving into trivial, vague cliches, I could fully endorse the song. Alas. But regardless of my indifference for the tune, I'm not surprised it turned her into a globe-conquering superstar. She is much more famous now than Demi ever was, but at the same time she hasn't left yet as much of an overall impression on the musical landscape as Demi. So of these two, who is more likely to attain greater success by the end of their careers? Who is more likely to be remembered 20 years down the line? Who is more likely to be looked back upon by future generations as a definitive artiste of the period? Let me say that they're not going to be forgotten, neither of them. They've both attained lasting success, and they've both accrued legions of defenders, earning them at least a footnote in the long-term history of popular music. However, they're also likely not going to be remembered alongside the true superstars of their age, like Taylor Swift, or Ed Sheeran, or Beyonce, or Rihanna, or Drake. If either of them has the chance to reach that level of fame, it's Cabello. Not only has she attained success both as an individual and as part of a group at such a young age, but she has also landed a massive hit that became one of the biggest of the decade. Havana was one of the very few songs in not just the last year, but in the last several years, that has managed to actually capture the national attention in an era when most of the biggest smashes are low-tempo, insipid, indistinguishable dirges. It's entirely possible that she becomes one of the greatest stars of the 2020s, an astounding performer whose name will be on the lips of both snobby music critics and the average layperson. It's possible she will become a major cultural figure and make music that will be played incessantly on oldies stations by the middle of this century. However, it is also possible that she could flame out and never again be as big as she is right now. Maybe the direction of popular music shifts dramatically and rapidly and she can't adjust. I doubt that though. It's unlikely that she will entirely stop being successful. Pop music is in desperate need of personality and charisma right now, and she can deliver on both fronts. Whether her fame grows or stays the course depends on whether she has the songs to let that star power shine. Demi, meanwhile, is Demi. I highly doubt her career prospects are going to change significantly. For that, I'm glad. She deserves to be successful. Her music's good. She has had to endure strife and suffering to get to where she is. It's been a long road. But though she has always been successful, beneath the joyous facade, she's battled demons that threaten to consume her. She's suffered from bulimia and severe depression and addiction to cocaine. She used to self-harm. Her life story could have been one great big tragedy about the damage that comes with basically being owned body and soul by the Disney company, oppressed under its velvet glove control.
And then I started to drink and use, and my life just kind of spun out of control, and I feel like had I not had music in my life, I probably wouldn't have survived.
Oh, what saccharine TV movies they would have made about her. The squeaky clean starlet who is secretly ravaged by addiction. She could have become the 21st century version of Marilyn Monroe. Instead, she survived. She's sober now, and she's comfortable with her body. I wish her the best. Of course, there's always the baleful chance that she will relapse, but she seems to have conquered her demons. Good for her. As an artist, she hasn't grown tremendously since bursting onto the scene, but she hasn't regressed in maturity a la Taylor Swift. Do I think she has a legitimate chance to become the biggest pop star of the 2020s? No, but as long as she keeps releasing pop albums, people will keep on buying them. She inspires loyalty, and of all the former Disney Channel stars, she is the most consistent. In fact, she's one of the most consistent pop stars out there. She's emerged from the Valley of Darkness, and she's living the dream. While she doesn't have the sheer stage presence of Cabello, she pours herself into her music. There's a joy in her recent albums that wasn't there before, and that is the joy of her newfound sense of confidence and self-love. Now for the verdict. Who is going to be the bigger star long-term? Lovato is the safer bet, but Cabello has more upside. Perhaps pitting them against one another is a silly practice in of itself. We need them both, and we need more singers like them. I realize that now. But if I am going to pick one, I have to pick Cabello. She's already debuted an album at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and as she grows into her burgeoning stardom, she's only going to get bigger, and her music is hopefully only going to get better. Lovato is at the height of her career, but Cabello is only getting started. If she maintains the track she's on right now, there's a real possibility that she could come to dominate the pop music landscape. I hate having to pick winners in videos like this. Maybe I should have taken a different route with this video, one that juxtaposed the singers in order to gain a greater perspective on their success instead of entering them into a silly, banal, synthetic competition with one another. A competition necessarily, intrinsically, has winners and losers. Reality isn't so clean-cut, and honestly, we're the better for it. We don't have to pick the better of two good options and leave the other one out to dry. I can say that though their music can tend toward the bland side at worst, I hope that both Lovato and Cabello continue to succeed. Life isn't about competition. Not really. We love arranging things into top 10 lists. Even I'm guilty of that. It's an easy format for communicating your thoughts, but that's not the best framework for understanding. Juxtapose and analyze and synthesize. That's what matters. That's how you grow as a person. So instead of arguing about which artist is better, try to understand how they relate to each other, and by that you will understand the individual artists better. If you liked what you saw today, consider donating to me on Patreon so I can produce even more mellifluous content. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that lyrical stuff. Adios, comrades!